Good evening. Glad to have you join us. This is the news at 7 on NTA International. We're live here in Abuja. And I'm Ruth Aguela. We're starting with the headlines. World Health Organization declares Nigeria polio-free as President Muhammadu Buhari promises to bequeath a polio-free country to his successor. Federal government promises to restore sanity in exploitation and exploration of solid minerals potential. And Supreme Court reserves judgment in PDP appeal, challenging re-election of Governor Bello of KOGI State. Well, good news. It is now official. Nigeria is free of poliomyelitis. This followed the certification of wild polio virus eradication in the African region by the World Health Organization. Reacting to the development, President Muhammadu Buhari described it as a personal fulfillment of his 2015 pledge to Nigerians that he would not bequeath a polio-endemic country to his successor. He said the achievement is coming at a time when the global community is battling COVID-19. Now, this strengthens his conviction that with the requisite political will, investment and strategies, the curve of the epidemic can be flattened.
Polio virus in Africa jealously and ensure that we take all necessary steps to prevent a resurgence of this dreaded disease. This will require maintaining the highest quality of surveillance and sustaining population immunity through increasing routine immunization coverage and supplemental immunization activities. Let me assure the global community that Nigeria will sustain the momentum and leverage on the lessons learned from polio eradication to strengthen our health system, especially primary health care, and prioritize health security. We must continue to invest in our health systems because healthy populations create wealthy nations. We must continue to build trust between government institutions, leaders, and citizens so that we can unite as a people and confront the health and socio-economic challenges we face together.
Africa has been declared free from wild polio by the independent body, the Africa Regional Certification Commission. Following Nigeria's certification, Afghanistan and Pakistan are now the only two polio-endemic countries in the world. And to shed more light on the country's polio-free status is the WHO country representative to Nigeria, Dr. Walter KAZADI MULOMBO. Thank you very much, Doctor, for joining us.
Thank you.
Doctor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Now, how did we get to this point, talking about Nigeria, of being certified as polio-free?
Thank you, Madam Journalist. As you know, to get Nigeria to this stage, it has taken a lot of efforts. Ever since the Global Eradication Program was launched in 1988, and then when there was a big outbreak in Africa in 1996, that's why Nigeria started this journey. It was tortuous. It was marred with setback. But one thing that remained constant was the determination of those affected, their parents, and the national authorities to overcome the different setbacks up to this level. It has taken a lot of effort and professionalism and commitment to get Nigeria to this very state no one would have ever imagined when it all started.
Okay, from what you're saying, we know that in the last 3 years, Nigeria, there's not been any reported case of polio in the country. What is responsible for this attainment, considering what you're saying?
Yes, Nigeria has strengthened its system from surveillance. They have strengthened the system to ensure immunization coverage is increased and sustained, and that every new suspected cases was investigated to rule out polio while continuing the social mobilization. The community has played a major role in putting a bridge between them and the professional health workers so that the dialogue will continue while the country is moving ahead toward this very big milestone we are celebrating today.
Okay, so how do we sustain this feat as a nation so we're still certified free?
We need to remain vigilant. We need to continue routine immunization. We need to make sure that every child is reached by the polio vaccine so that we will ensure better coverage and better protection of the majority of the population that is affected by, that can be affected by polio virus. As you know, we still have some challenges ahead. We have vaccine-derived polio virus circulating, and we need to make sure that the immunization coverage is maintained at high level enough to generate herd immunity in the community so that the whole community will be protected. W.HO will work with all the partners to ensure that the support required by the government of Nigeria and the community and the state, LGAs, and local level will ensure that that support is always available to make sure that the immunization coverage remains high so that we can prevent importation of polio in the country.
Okay, that's on a larger scale now. From the individuals, what would you advise so we can sustain this?
Every person should play his part. This battle, we won it because everybody got engaged, from parents to national leaders to partners. We should be all in this together to ensure that we maintain and sustain this polio-free status.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Walter KAZADI MULOMBO. Thank you for your contribution. All right, let's look at another deadlier disease, talking about COVID-19. World Health Organization declares decline in COVID-19 infections as Gaza reports first infections among the public. Let's get the details from Uche Ogochukwu.
The World Health Organization says although COVID-19 pandemic is still spreading, the rise in cases and deaths has declined globally, except for Southeast Asia and the Eastern Mediterranean regions. Its latest epidemiological update reveals America remains the hardest hit region. Meanwhile, 23,901,407 people have been infected with coronavirus globally, and 819,220 died, according to Johns Hopkins University Coronavirus Resource Center, as at 6:30 p.m. local time. A 48-hour lockdown is in force across Gaza Strip after the first infections were recorded among the public. Argentina reported a record 8,713 new cases and 381 deaths in 24 hours. South Korea on Tuesday ordered most schools in Seoul and surrounding areas to close and move classes back online after the country's Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported 280 new coronavirus cases, and the Philippine Health Ministry confirmed 2,965 additional infections and 34 more deaths. Down to Africa, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, as at Monday, confirmed 321 new cases of COVID-19 from 23 states and the Federal Capital Territory. This brings the total confirmed cases to 52,548, 39,257 discharged, and 1,004 deaths. South Africa experienced decline from a peak of about 15,000 daily infections in July to just over 1,600 in the past 24 hours. And Africa now has 1,201,010 positive cases, from which 28,070 died. That's it on the global coronavirus update. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
Thanks, Uche. And we hear that no researchers or herbal medicine practitioners have been given approval for the management of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, which made this clarification, however, confirmed that it is working with Lagos State government on clinical trials. Let's hear from Haman Jabani.
Countries around the world, including Nigeria, are trying to find cure for COVID-19. With over 40 applications from researchers and herbal medicine practitioners submitted to the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, for the management of COVID-19 and the clinical trials ongoing with the Lagos State government, Nigeria may soon witness success in that effort to find cure for COVID-19. NAFDAC, as a regulatory agency, is working towards ensuring that any herbal medicine that is in the market has been certified, and all applications concerning the management of COVID-19 must go through the approved certification processes.
Herbal medicine companies or researchers are going through clinical trial process. We are reviewing the applications as we speak. And the CBN scheme that is out there now, the closing date is October 30. Many academicians will submit proposals to do more research into COVID-19 related potential products.
In the last 2.5 years, NAFDAC said it has settled its over 3 billion naira debt, have better functional labs across the country, created additional 10 directorates, improved staff welfare, reduced the number of days for registration of products, among other achievements. The agency, however, solicited the support of the media and the general public in the provision of useful information that will make it achieve its mandate and serve Nigerians better. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has promised his administration's continued support to the genuine efforts by Zamfara state government to restore sanity and the desired impetus in the exploitation as well as exploration of the abundant solid minerals potential in the state. Receiving the governor of the state, Bello Muhammadu, the president expressed the belief that if illegal mining activities are checked, security and socio-economic development will be enhanced in the state. Let's hear from State House correspondent Adamu Sambo.
Governor Bello Muhammadu, accompanied by one Bashir Hadeja, was in the State House to show President Muhammadu Buhari bars of gold and other precious stones mined in the state. The products, he said, were acquired directly from artisanal miners as part of efforts to check illegal mining activities in the state.
Some people from outside the country used to come to the state and buy gold and other precious stones from all these small-scale miners. I made my investigation, which make me to make the state government to be engaging the miners so that we shall be buying the golds from them, so that we can, block that chain. I come to show him what the state government has already procured from the miners, from those people in the bush. So he have seen what we have. We have so many cages of gold in Zamfara state. He's very happy with the system that we initiated, and he said whatever support the state government need, the federal government is ready to assist us. In fact, he have been given directives to the Minister of Solid Minerals to work with the state government.
In fact, Governor Bello Muhammad said 3 days back, large deposits of gold have been discovered in the state, and the villagers are trooping in thousands to the sites for illegal mining activities.
So I come to get some advice from Mr. President on how best we are going to tackle the issue of this illegal mining, which we have discussed, and he gave me all the support. And in the next few days, the people of Zamfara state will see a lot of changes, particularly in the mining sector.
Discussions with the president also centered on, amongst others, how Zamfara state can benefit from the presidential artisanal gold mining initiative, as well as the security situation in the state.
Now you can't be hearing all sort kind of that mass killing in the state because the security are doing their best. I equally advise Mr. President that those that are calling for cycling of security is not the solution. They should think of the best way to support the security so that they can perform better.
The governor, who commended the president for his intervention towards the restoration of normalcy in the state, however, maintained that governors have crucial roles to play in supporting efforts at securing lives and property of their people. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Again, President Muhammadu Buhari says the prevalent challenges of nation building notwithstanding, concerted efforts have been made by his administration towards sustaining Nigeria's position as profitable investment destination. He therefore told the new envoys posted to Nigeria to encourage potential investors from their respective countries to take advantage of the unequaled incentives in critical economic sectors, especially the large market and flexible tax system to invest in the country. This was while receiving letters of credence from the envoys, as State House correspondent again, Adamu Sambu, tells us more.
The forecourt of the State House, Nigeria's seat of government, comes alive for the first time since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic in February this year. A befitting diplomatic welcome was put together by officers and soldiers of the Presidential Guards Brigade in honor of the new ambassadors and high commissioners posted to Nigeria. They are Hyacinth Latil of Algeria, Luang Thing of Vietnam, Benson Alfred Bana of Tanzania, and Traore Kalilu of Cote d'Ivoire. The rest were Abubakar Saleh Chahaimi of the Republic of Chad, Jamal Muhammad Baro of Somalia, Brahim Saleh El Mami Busaif of Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, and Muhammad Ali Bak of Iran. President Muhammadu Buhari, who welcomed the envoys as they formally assume official responsibilities in the country, said Nigeria does not divide its partners into big and small.
We value and respect every country, and with every country we are ready to pursue dialogue as well as build cooperation on the basis of equality and constructive mutual respect. These include our cooperation in strengthening regional, continental, and global peace security, resolving complex issues, settling conflicts, as well as addressing dangerous threats to mankind, among which include terrorism, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, human trafficking, cyber crimes, poverty, communicable diseases, and epidemics.
He also told the envoys that joint action will be strongly supported by Nigeria towards ensuring a democratic and fair world order based on strict respect for the norms of international law, cultural diversity, national sovereignty, and the right of all countries to freely decide their future without external pressure.
In our efforts to achieve a realistic domestic and sovereign policy, as well as national development, we have identified 9 priority areas to guide our policy directions over the next few years. The 9 priority mandates are reflected in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, a medium-term initiative pioneered by our government to restore economic growth and development while leveraging the resourcefulness and the resilience of the people of Nigeria, the nation's most prized asset.
The priority areas enumerated by the President includes building a thriving and sustainable economy, enhancing social inclusion, attaining energy sufficiency, improving security for all, and building a system to fight corruption, improve governance, and create social cohesion. Ambassador Hyacinth Latil of Algeria, who spoke on behalf of the envoys, acknowledged Nigeria's position as giant of Africa and promised to work individually and collectively towards enhancing cooperation and seeking advancement in mutual areas of interest between Nigeria and their respective countries. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Let's go on a break now. We're back. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying with us. The federal government says it will pursue a fully private sector-driven digital switchover as there will be no subsidies for set-top boxes or for signal carriage. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed disclosed this at a meeting with stakeholders in the DSO process in Abuja. Anthony Forson reports.
The enthusiasm that trailed the launch of the digital switchover in Jos, the Plateau State capital, in 2016, then Abuja, followed by Kwara, Kaduna, Enugu and Osogbo, left no one in doubt that the project was on course.
In Abuja, as of today, on the analog platform, you have NTA Abuja, you have ITV, you have NTV, you have Channels TV, you have AIT.
However, following the stalling of the launch in other states, the availability of free TV brand under which the DSO is being delivered across the country gives hope that a lot can still be achieved. It is in the light of this that Lai Mohammed told the meeting that the process to acquire the much needed funds to fast-track the DSO project and pay off all outstanding debts are in top gear to motivate stakeholders to resume the rollout, which has a huge economic benefits to Nigerians.
We are at high-level talks with the Federal Ministry of Finance, and we are also putting finishing touches to a memo we plan to send to the Federal Reserve Council as part of our relentless efforts to secure the funds to restart the process. And we are very optimistic that our efforts will pay off very soon. While looking for funds to pay outstanding debts and restart the process, I want to put it on record here that we'll be pursuing a full private sector-driven DSO, and there will be no more subsidies, either of set-top boxes or of signal carriage.
On audience measurement to drive advertisement, the minister said a process in that direction is already in place, which will go a long way in driving advert spending to the DSO platforms and channels to help fulfill obligations to signal distributors.
This meeting must come up with a strategic plan for a resumed rollout, with an express commitment to continue with the process until every state has been covered.
Key issues discussed include DSO indebtedness, funding, as well as rollout time. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Let's bring you update in Mali now. Talks in Mali aimed at resolving the political situation in the aftermath of last week's coup have ended without agreement. The country's new military leaders and West African mediators wrap up days of talks without settling on how to return to civilian rule. The leader of ECOWAS delegation, former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, said President Ibrahim Boubacar Keita has indicated that he has resigned and that he was not forced to do so and does not want to go back to power. He said the issue of lifting the sanctions was discussed by both parties and promised to make the points during an extraordinary summit of the heads of state and government of ECOWAS, which should be holding this Wednesday. The Malian junta undertook promise to release the other personalities arrested, depending on the security situation in the country. And back home for us on the judiciary scene, the Supreme Court has fixed 31st of August 2020 to deliver judgment in the appeal brought before it by the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Musa Wada and his party challenging the re-election of Governor Yaya Bello of the All Progressives Congress in the November 16, 2019 governorship election in the state. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chumuba reports.
On the 23rd of May, the KOGI state governorship election, which started in Abuja in a split decision of 2-1, reaffirmed INEC declaration and returned Yaya Bello as validly elected governor of KOGI state. The tribunal also resolved 4 other petitions in his favor. Dissatisfied with the decision of the tribunal, the 4 parties approached the Court of Appeal, and the court also dismissed the appeal. The 3 appeals were filed by the People's Democratic Party, Social Democratic Party, and Democratic People's Party. The PDP is insisting that its candidate Musa Wada won the November 16th governorship election. The appellant had claimed that the election which brought in Yaya Bello as the governor of KOGI state was marred by serious irregularities. In their brief of argument, counsel to the appellant, Jibril Okutakbe, SAN, urged the court to allow the appeal, while the respondent counsels, Joseph Daudu and Abubakar, opposed the application and urged the court to dismiss the appeal with substantial cost. The 7-man panel of justices led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, after listening to the submission of the counsels, dismissed the appeal filed by the Democratic People's Party for being a mere academic exercise and awarded a cost of 200,000 naira against the party.
We have done what we need to do. Appeal has been adjourned, so we leave the rest for their lordships to do what they needed to do. This is the last court. The Court of Justice.
All the parties have adopted and argued their cases.
The lower courts had, in a concurrent judgment, dismissed the appeal for failure to prove the allegations of electoral malpractices. In Abuja, Vera Chumuba, NTA News.
And that's the news at 7. Thank you very much for your time with us. I'm Ruth Aguele. But remember to stay true to this message we leave you with. Bye.